Hey everyone, this is me, the Undead Viking, and this here is Draconis Invasion. Now, Draconis Invasion is a game that I did a review for quite a while ago. That was a review during the time when the game was going through Kickstarter and getting funding. I am happy that I actually backed the game. And I got my own copy of it because I was really taken, okay, back up just a little bit. There's a lot of times when I've, if you listen to my, my weekly podcast, or if you've watched these videos, I've disparaged, just a little bit, the mechanism that is the deck building game. Now, that doesn't mean that deck building games don't exist that are really good. It just seems like, especially a few years ago, there was a huge glut of them, right? During the whole, like, Dominion, taking over the world kind of thing, and it just seemed like everybody under the sun had their own little, like, deck building idea that they were throwing out there. And, it was one of those things where I played a lot of deck builders that just weren't, they just weren't really fun. They weren't really good. It was just kind of like very derivative of the stuff that I was out there that was already doing a really, really good job in entertaining me. And then, so when, I would get a new deck builder, I would be completely honest, I would kind of, be approaching it in, a way that, come on, you gotta show me something. I definitely had, a little bit of a guard up before it actually, was able to get to me and prove to me, that it was going to be fun, and that's really harsh, and I apologize for that. But Draconis Invasion was one of those games that did that, and it kind of beat its way through that little guard that I had set up. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised with how fantastic it was. And because back then the game that I had didn't have all the final art, didn't have all the cards, didn't have all the things, I was really, really excited to get my own copy of this. And then I've since played it quite a bit with my friends in my gaming group, but also with my daughter quite a bit, and even solo. I've been enjoying it quite a while. So this is one of those rare times where I'm revisiting the game that I reviewed before. But like as I said, the game that I reviewed before was just like that prototype that I had. So let me just show you Draconis Invasion, and we'll kind of dive through how the game is played. I'll show you some of the cards, and I'll come back here and I'll tell you why this one is on my shelf and will be there for a while. Alright, so this is Draconis Invasion. I have set the game up as a 3-player game. It does work really well as a solo game. I've played it like that quite a few times. Also, I played it as a 2-player game against my daughter. The game's slightly different, obviously, with as a solo game, and also just a little bit as a 2-player game. But I think most people are going to be playing this as a 3 to 6-player game, so I've gone ahead and set it up as a 3-player game. Now, the big difference between playing with 3, 4, 5, or 6 players is the number of these cards. These are event cards. I'll talk about them here in a little bit. But they serve as a sort of timer that will trigger the end of the game. If you ever get through it with all the event cards and you reveal this retreat card, that means that the game is over and you will total up your points. Now, the players themselves can actually force the game to be over sooner if one of the players manages to defeat 6 invader cards, and then the person who does that will trigger the end of the game. Now, before I dive into how the game is played and some of the mechanisms that you're going to be using, I just want to tell you exactly what you're looking at right here. Now, I'm going under the assumption that a lot of you who are watching this have played a deck building game before, but I am going to try to use basic terminologies and try to explain those as well. Alright, so up here we have the 3 different types of money cards. Money cards are used in deck building games a lot of times to purchase other cards. In this case, you'll be purchasing action cards, which are located here, and you'll be using these to purchase defenders, the actual people that you'll be using to fight the invaders that are located here. As I said, these are the action cards. Your starting deck will start with no action cards, and so you will need to purchase these to get them into your hand, so then you'll be able to use them at later turns. Defender cards are just that, as I said, the defenders that you're going to be using to attack these invaders that are over here. The defenders, have and for that matter, the gold cards or money cards, the action cards, and the defenders all have a price that's located in the bottom right-hand corner. You have to have that much money in your hand when you purchase them so you can put them into your discard pile that later will be cycled into your starting hand. Now this area right over here, these cards are little bonus cards that you can get, and you actually do get 2 of these. These are known as scenario cards. You get 2 of these randomly at the beginning of the game. What they will do is they will tell you that if you manage to kill a certain number of these types of invaders, so like in this case, you kill 2 skeletal soldiers, you're going to get +4 victory points. If I manage to kill 1 hellhound, I'll get +2 victory points. As the game progresses, you'll be able to take these cards and get more of them into your hand. You are also, when you take those as an action, and I'll talk about this more when I talk about what you do in your turn, you'll have the option of taking either the cards that are face up, 3 that are face up, or taking one blindly off the top of the deck. If you take one from here, you will then replace the spot with the next card from the top of the deck. These invader cards, you have the yellow invaders that are here, and you have the blue invaders that are here. As you just kill these invaders, you will then, as you do with scenario cards, when you say you destroy this Reaper, you will draw the top card off the top of the deck and you will place it down there. All of these cards have this little thing down here that says revealed, and then it will tell you to do something. So revealed, attacking player, and that's usually going to be the person whose turn it is, gains 1 terror card. You probably have seen those terror cards up there. I haven't talked about them yet, and I will here in just a second. When these cards come out at the very beginning of the game, because you do reveal 3 to set up, you don't do anything with the revealed status there. One of the neat things about this game is that you have to kill these invaders, obviously to get points, but when you do, you're going to be revealing cards that will inherently hurt you because you're the one that is taking out these invaders. And I think that's kind of neat how, thematically, I see it as, you are fighting, these invading forces, and they see you as a threat. And so when these cards come out, they attack you, and they want to do you in. And so that there's kind of a little seesaw there where if you're doing well and you're taking things out, you have the problem of the fact that you are also going to get weakened a little bit when you do that. And I really enjoy that. And I'll talk about that a little bit when I do my final thoughts. Alright, so the final cards are these terror cards. So, and that's all they are. There's this really cool blue skull. And I should mention that all of the artwork in this game is really, really awesome. But you'll notice the back of the card looks the same as the backs of the other cards. What this card is it basically gums up your deck. This is a deck building game. You're going to be going through your deck and drawing 6 cards and having a 6-card hand, and then playing those cards as best as you can. When you gain terror cards, what will happen is that you will they're going to be part of that 6 cards that you have, and you're not going to be able to do anything with them because they can't really do any actions. They can't be used to purchase anything, can't be used to attack. They're just going to be terror cards. And doubling down on the bad things about terror cards is that when you get them in your hand and you end up discarding them, you're going to have this terror die increase in levels. Now, at the beginning of the game, you will roll this die and it'll have a random start. So like if this is the beginning of the game, we would start at terror level 5. And then when somebody discards a terror card, you go up to 6. And then when you hit 6, what happens is that you're going to draw one of these events and something bad is going to happen. The next time somebody discards terror cards, you're going to revert back to 1. And then go through the whole process again. Now, as I said, we'll start at 5, and so you can see here, there's a starting threat level. It says level 5, all players gain 1 terror card and 1 treasure card. So you get a little bit something good and a little bit something bad. So, and here we'll just kind of look at these. Starting player gains 1 terror card. Starting player chooses another player. Both players gain 1 terror card. All players gain 1 terror card and 1 fortune card. So you can kind of see, just this is the starting threat level and what happens when those things happen. So, when you draw an event card, let me just show you one here quick. When you draw an event card, this card will be taken, it'll be face down, and you'll be handed to the next player, the upcoming player, the next player's turn. They'll get a chance to read it, so Dark Rising event. Players with the most kills must trash 1 random card from their hand. Now, trash terminology in deck means you just destroy the card. It gets taken out of your hand, and you don't get it, so it could be something really good. So, the players with the most kills, you have to get rid of a card. Once again, the people that are doing the best, that are the most threat to the invaders, will be the ones that have that bad thing happen to them. Just another one of those cool little effects that kind of helps the immersion and the theme of the game to really shine. So the game is, if you play deck building games, this is probably going to be a little bit old hat as far as the mechanisms. What you're going to do is you're going to have a deck. You're going to take the top 6 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to have these 6 cards, and you're going to look at these. And right now, these are going to be pretty boring because the starting deck is going to be Imperial Guards, and there's going to be Wealth cards. And so you're going to have, these are plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. So I have a buy power of 40, and I have an attack value of 10. Now I want to talk about the attack cards really quick. You notice that to buy one of these, it costs 10 to buy one, and it costs this little 0 here, and there's 5. The 0 means that I don't have to pay anything. Like, you think of these as mercenaries. You have to pay them money to go through an attack. So let's just, compare that to, say, this Valkyrie here. This Valkyrie has a 50 coins right there, but they have attack value of 30, whereas this is attack value of 5 and costs nothing. So I wouldn't, if I had this Valkyrie in my hand, I couldn't even pay the Valkyrie to attack because of the fact that I only have these 40 coins. Now, I think this is something that is actually pretty important as far as how Draconis Invasion works. Now, a lot of these deck building games that I play, it just seems like go for that one big card, go for that one big card, go for that one big card. And you kind of start building these decks of you have this end card that you want to have in your hand. So in this case, a Valkyrie might be a really, really good card to have in your hand because of the fact that you want to have that. So you're going to be able to have a lot of attack power, you're going to be able to kill these invading forces, and you're going to be able to gain those points, those victory points or what have you. So, but the problem is that you have to actually leverage having those cards with having good treasure cards in your hand as well. Or I should say money cards, because treasure card is level 2. It's wealth, treasure, and fortune. You have to leverage that with having these cards as well, because of the fact that you have to be able to pay them to actually attack. So that's one of the other things that I kind of really like about the game, and that I really, really enjoyed as far as determining that. And I should mention also that I have this set up, right? I have these different action cards. I have these different defender cards. This is actually part of a scenario that the game book actually provides. Now, you're welcome to play the game however you wish. You can design it and play it however you like. But they actually, and I'm going to show you the rule book here, they have these different battle stages. So this is battle stage 1. It actually tells you which action cards and which defender cards to use. And so then you move forward to battle stage 2 and 3 and 4. And so once again, you could play this game however you like. You could randomize this. You could do whatever. But they actually do have a campaign set up that you and the other players, you can kind of play through. And I like that. I like the fact that it kind of evolves and changes as you play the game. So, all right. So the big thing is that after you have your 6 cards, what you're going to be doing is you have the ability to play 1 action card. Now, at the very beginning of the game, you're not going to have any action cards because you haven't purchased any. And a lot of these games, deck building games, they have this kind of ramp-up mentality to it, where you have to kind of build up. Notice how, I could technically beat this skeletal soldier because of the fact that I have, a total of, if you look at the skeleton here, a skeletal soldier has a 10 health, and I have those 2 cards that have 5 attack. Attacking
and then, I'd be able to get that and I'd have that 1 victory point. And I probably would do that because of the fact that I have, as I showed, this campaign card that has a skeletal soldier on it. That'd be half of the way there with killing that one. So, theoretically, that's what I do. But action cards are just that. Like, they're going to give you an action, and some of them are going to be pretty straightforward. Like you see here, this Rush to Battle card. It costs 60 coins to get, but then you get plus 10, when you play it as your action card, you get plus 10 coins, you get to draw 1 more card from your deck, and then you get plus 1 action. Pretty straightforward. Now, some of the other ones actually will have different, like, things you can do, like the shape-shifting card. It gives you plus 1 action, but then also it says discard any number of your cards and then gain plus 1 card to your hand per card discarded. So if you wanted to kind of cycle through your deck, things like that. And there's lots of these cards, and I'm not putting all the cards out here. In the game box, I still have tons of cards, and like I said, this is like the scenario that's set up for the very first battle. Now, I should mention that if you're going to purchase a defender card, now some of them are just going to be straightforward defenders, like, this Dread Knight or this Valkyrie. You'll see, like, they're going to cost a certain number of coins, of 40 coins for this one, 60 coins for this one, and they're just going to give you more attack power. And you'll have to decide which ones that you want to use as far as those are concerned. However, some of them actually do have other powers. So, like here with this Werebear, it costs 80 coins, quite a bit. It costs 70 coins to activate, and it has attack of 35, but choose another player. That player gains 2 terror cards, and they put them on top of their deck. So you have cards that allow you to mess with other people. For example, like here's a Dawn of Hope, like pretty powerful, right? Plus 20 coins, plus 2 cards, plus 1 action. Choose another player. That player gains plus 1 card to their hand. So this is one that you'll help you, but you'll actually cause another person to you're actually helping one other person, but at a price, so like you want to have a really good card, but then you have to actually give somebody else a little bit something as well. So I mean, they're kind of neat things going on. There are also like one of those things where here, like, things come at a price. So like Cursed Fury, it's an action. You inflict plus 10 damage during this turn, but you also gain a terror card. So that's another one of those things where it isn't just always straightforward, as far as like, hey, this is what you're going to do as far as, you get some bonus points or you get some bonus power or whatever. You have to weigh the good and the bad before you take those actions. So, all right. But anyway, so after you play your action, after you play your action, you will have 3 different options that you get these, and you can choose, and you don't have to, but you may choose exactly one of these things. You can buy, which we've talked about. You buy. You're gonna discard. Like my hand had 40 coins in it. Here, let me get my hand out again. So my hand had these 40 coins. So I could use that to buy. So I could look, and if I wanted an action card, maybe I would take this Cursed Fury, or maybe I'd take Casualty of War, where it says Casualty of War says trash 1 non-terror card from your hand and another plus 1 action. So you can kind of get through, maybe like later on I get through some of these Imperial Guard cards because they kind of messed up my hand, or maybe I've got a lot of these wealth cards in my hand, and I want to get rid of some of those because I've replaced them with treasure cards. Maybe I just want to get one of these Dread Knights, right? Because of the fact that they have an attack of 15. But regardless, I would have to discard the 40 coins and then be able to buy that Dread Knight, and I could take that and put it in my discard pile. Now, if I didn't want to buy, I could campaign, and campaign allows you to take 2 campaign cards and put them with your other campaign cards that you have. And as I said, you can take one of them that is face up, or you can blindly draw one off the top of the deck. Finally, you can take a defeat, which means you're going to use the attack power that you have. In this case, I had the 2 Imperial Guards. I could discard those because they have 5 attack each. They don't cost any money for me to activate. I could use that to kill this skeletal soldier. Once I kill skeletal soldier, I put this face down, in front of me, so like, I've got that, and then you take the top card and you turn it over and reveal. Let's see what the reveal is. For the succubus, revealed attacking player draws 4 cards instead of 6, because now normally my turn is done. And so now I'm going to like discard my hand, and I'm going to draw back up. Normally I draw back up to 6, but because I revealed the succubus card, I only get 4 cards this particular turn, and I'm going to have those in my hand. So, and there's one of those things where also, mind you, remember, I had the option of those 3 things. So I could buy cards, I could get new campaign cards, or I could attack one of those invaders, and I chose to attack. I got no new cards whatsoever. So you have to, and you're going to have to build a better deck so you can start killing some of the more powerful invaders to get the larger glory points for destroying those, because you're not going to win by taking the easier ones all the time. So this is a wonderful game where you have to weigh the odds back and forth between the several different things that are going to happen. So the game will continue, as I said, until you get through this event deck, or somebody kills enough of the invaders to trigger the end of the game, and then everybody's going to total up the number of points they're going to get for each one of the invaders they destroyed, and also for any campaign cards that they satisfied, and then whoever has the most points will win. The game's, you can play a game relatively quickly, especially if everybody is pretty familiar with deck building games. And then the best thing is, because you can get these games done relatively quickly, you can then load up the next level of the campaign and then go ahead and do battle again. Like I said, I played lots of deck building games, and most of them get like 1 or 2 plays, and then I put them on the shelf, or I give them to a friend, or I hand it off at a convention or something like that. This one has stayed in my collection because of the fact that I really like challenging myself with trying to make sure that I maintain that balance of my deck, instead of just there's usually, I've found in a lot of deck building games, it's just like there's just those 1 or 2 or 3 little combos that you just go for, and then you can just barrel through, right, as like kind of like a juggernaut creation. But with this one, it forces you to have this like superb balance of making sure you maintain that in your hand. So let me talk more about that in my final thoughts. I'm not tossing this one around because it's my copy and I don't want to break the box. Okay, anyway, so yeah, there, that's the best I'm going to do. Alright, so I've already kind of said what I like about it, right? It was one of those things where the balancing act between the coins and the other cards is very difficult to do. And then the fact is that you have to kind of swirl in the action cards as well, because there's really no way. I mean, you can't really get by just having coins and attackers, because you're just going to have those problems where when you have to pick up all your cards and shuffle them up, well, if you have a hand of just a whole bunch of wealth coins, then you're not going to be able to do anything except buy. And if you just get a bunch of attacking cards, well, they can't do anything without any wealth in them. So you have to throw in action cards into the mix, because those will allow you to cycle through your cards, like that shapeshift card that I showed you. Allows you to discard a bunch of cards, so you have like one attack card that you want to use, right? And then you have that, and you can you discard all the other cards in the hopes of getting like enough gold, and put back in your hand that you'll be able to use that attack card to attack the invader that you want to go after. So I mean, and it's that balance of like the 3 different types of cards that I really like. You're kind of juggling them. That was my juggle motion. You're kind of juggling them, repeatedly as the game progresses. And then as the game progresses, you have to kind of change up what you're doing. And never mind the fact that like the other players and the events and things are going to be putting more of these cards in your hand,
making it even worse and screwing things up for you even more, that it's a real challenge. And I really liked that challenge. I mean, I like the whole process of picking up my 6 cards and figuring out the puzzle of those 6 cards and how I was going to make, my next turn work. And realizing that, like, you almost have to have, like, things perfectly fall into place in a lot of ways for you to be able to do the defeat, the attack, to collect the card that's going to get you some glory points. And you have to just kind of put yourself into the best possible situation with the makeup of your deck to allow yourself the chance to get that kind of, lucky happenstance almost, to have it happen. So it requires a lot of planning. It requires a lot of, like, knowledge of the cards that you're putting into your deck, and for that matter, also getting rid of. And, like, it requires some really good timing as well. And it's because of the challenge, and it's because of the fun that I've had in messing around with it, that I really have enjoyed my plays of Draconis Invasion. And if you are a fan of, the deck building genre and you're looking for another one to add to your collection, I would strongly suggest that you check this one out. I know that they're going to be having an expansion that's coming out for it relatively soon, and I'm really excited to see that because, obviously I've played this enough and I've seen all the cards, and with any good, card game, getting an influx of new cards with new powers, new abilities, new things, always, like, breathes some fresh, new, wonderful life into the game. Not that this is stale by any means, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to add. The designer Jeff, seeing what he's going to add to the game, and I'm excited to see that expand on this really good game that he's got right now. So there you go. That's Draconis Invasion. If you have any questions about it, ask away. I'll be happy to answer those as best as I can. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, I am the Undead Viking, and I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. Alright.